Hello, lovely people. We are here with the DCG development update and big news today. We are going to have a smaller update, but more cheerful update than usual, hopefully. And we will spend much more time on the Q&A. So please feel free to ask your questions in the live chat below. Use a Q or question prefix so that we will know that it is intended to the Q&A session. And let me find my screen sharing. And without further ado, let's start with the platform teams.
Yes, I hope that everybody can hear me properly. We activated Evolution. It's live.
Woo!
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yes. Anyway, that was great. It was not easy, but it happened. For people that don't know, we had 65 votes needed in the Genesis quorum to start, and we needed 67 to start the chain. And what finally happened is some people came forward that had made a small error in their configuration when they had updated, and we helped um, we helped basically them sign the first block properly. And then it activated. And let's go in and talk a little bit about this activation.
We'll move forward.
Yeah. So before that, let's just go on a quick overview. The release, most people worked on it. Paul worked also on the TUI. He actually also helped out on the release a little bit. GroveDB visualizer, Evgeny, that's now available for mainnet as well. So you can go in and see things. I'm not sure if we've linked it up to our website yet. So we might it might be a day or two before that's done. Dashmate, Ivan did some fixes on Dashmate as well, and Odysseus and Paul did start going in and helping mobile for their release on the 24th. So I will let's talk a little bit before we do anything about the success criteria for the rollout of evolution. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So we made this criteria 2 weeks ago, right? And this is what would be a successful launch. And as I mean, now we can see if it happened. So basically, the core forked activated, and the core continues to produce blocks. That definitely happened. The Genesis block was produced by platform on platform. Yes, it did happen. We got to block 10. Yes, that did happen. After a quorum worth of blocks, roughly 100, we changed quorums. That did happen. We complete a successful epoch. Well, obviously, this couldn't happen because it's 9 it's a little bit over 9 days. It's 219 hours exactly per epoch. So, and you might wonder why 219. It's a year worth of hours divided by 40, I believe. Um, so so we can't have completed a successful epoch yet because there hasn't been enough time. We will see that happen hopefully successfully in about 3 days, at which time proposers will be hopefully equally distributed dash credits. Not completely equally, it's based off the amount of blocks they proposed. We have seen here that some proposers are proposing a few extra blocks, and this is the only issue that we currently know of in in Evo. And it's basically that if a proposer is offline, the next proposer basically proposes their block, but the original proposer gets marked as having, well, not as having proposed, but having used their chance in the queue. So yeah, so basically, if you had two proposers before you that did not propose a block, um, then you could propose three blocks in a row, and that would, that's going to uh, change the distribution. We're going to fix this, small little problem. If we had more Evo nodes come online, like if the full list was online, it would be perfectly equally distributed. But we have about 15% of Evo nodes that are currently offline. It's gone way down. It was at about 33% 2 days ago, and now it's 15%, or yeah, something about that number. So I think that within a week we're going to see that number go down to even less. And even though we are going to fix this, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. It might be a big issue just for the first epoch, where we see a few proposers get a little bit more than some other ones. Okay, so the amount of dash on platform is roughly, oh yeah, the last one. Yeah, the other one was good. Other desired outcomes. Uh, all state transitions throw no errors. That is the case. No nodes experience determinism issues. That is the case. We don't know of any nodes that have experienced determinism issues. If you are an Evo node operator and you have seen your node go offline for reasons that you do not understand, you can talk to help desk. But we are monitoring as best we can, and we don't see anything like that. No report of queries having issues. Yep, none. Under load, we get at least 2 blocks per minute. So we don't have load, but we've done we are getting 2 blocks per minute. Sorry, this one should not be a check mark. A little over. We haven't done load testing yet. We are going to do load testing, but we're going to do it in after the first epoch goes around. And then the chain continues to operate properly under load. Yeah, of course, we haven't done that testing yet. So we wouldn't know. Fees represent something close to double the cost for the cost to users for storage. Yes, we have not checked that yet, so we do not know. And that will really be known after a few weeks, as we can do somewhat approximations based on the amount of stuff that has entered platform and the platform state, and then we can figure out if the fees were good or not, and then we can tweak them every version. Okay, so pretty much everything's gone very good. Here's some platform chain information. We've had 650 blocks so far, about 360 transactions, 14 data contracts, 77 identities. And yeah, the sad part is 15 Evo nodes offline per quorum. I mean, they're losing money. The other Evo node operators are making more money. So, they're just being left out. Well, the one thing that's interesting here is that we haven't really made it very easy to use platform yet, in the sense that this was an accelerated release. The tutorials are very lacking at this point. So I feel like once we get tutorials up and we have better SDK access to platform, we're going to see these numbers go way up. Okay. We're just quickly going to talk about what was in Tenderdash 1.2.1. Lucas, you wanna take it?
Yeah, so hi. Basically, we did two bug fixes. One was quite important for the release, but minor one, like one liner or so. Because when we were restarting Tenderdash, the Genesis file that is generated by Dashmate wasn't updated. And it caused some issues that some nodes loaded Genesis JSON and it was saved to the Tenderdash state. Then they updated and the new Genesis JSON wasn't loaded and it was changed between 1.0 and 1.1. I mean platform 1.0 and platform 1.1. So basically the state was inconsistent over the network. It was a one-liner fix, but important one to have smooth start. And second was even much more minor because it was some wrong and error handling when loading node keys. We got a feedback from the community that it's basically it gives error, so it was fixed. And a small improvement in how we generate the changelog with the git cliff tool. We just increased the version and cleaned up the changelog a bit because it was extremely long. So now it starts more or less at 1.0. And we released Tenderdash 1.2.1 with that. And one outstanding bug is, as Sam already mentioned, some proposers might propose twice if in previous round the block was if previous block was generated in round bigger than 0, right? So it's not a big issue from the network perspective, but it's a bit not fair from the like compensation for validators perspective. So for Evo nodes, basically. And that's pretty much it. That's what we did in terms of like changes in Tenderdash. Of course, we had much more work to do to just have it all started, to monitor the network, the system, to help people with their Evo nodes and all that stuff. That's it. Thanks.
Paul?
Hey guys. Yeah, so I spent most of the past 2 weeks helping out mobile with stuff like upgrading. They were using an old version of Dash and they want to platform. They're using what? They were using old RPC calls and basically uh, just we have new ones now, and so I was helping to make those work. I worked on the TUI a little bit. What I mainly did was just get it configured for mainnet. And I'm going to do a quick demo to show how you can use it for mainnet, because previously it's a little different, basically how you want to load a wallet. And we have a new environment file. So yeah, and what I'm going to be working on is adding a screen so you can see the status of the Evo nodes, like if they're running or not, basically. So let me share my screen. Okay, so here in TUI, here's the main screen. We have a new env file, env.mainnet. And basically all you need to do again is just input your username and password from dash core open wallet configuration file and run the TUI. When you go into the wallet screen, you can use this website, paper.dash.org, to generate a wallet, and then you can get its private key and paste it into here. Yeah, and then you can go to the identity screen, register an identity, and go to DPNS screen, and you can see your identity, all your identities. And from here, you can basically do all DPNS related stuff. You can register a username. You can query names for the selected identity. And once contested usernames go live in, I guess, 2-3 weeks, you can use the voting screen to see what names are contested and who's voting, see like what the vote state is, and also cast votes if you are an Evo node. Yeah, and one thing that I've been enjoying doing since the launch is in the contract screen. You can go to DPNS contract, domain documents is where the usernames are. So you can just query all documents, and you can see here all the usernames. These are the identities on the left, and then the label is the actual username. So you see R2D2, someone got R2D2 at dash, uh, some random, yeah. So there's a ton now, and I think I need to make well, maybe you want to do a more specific query than querying all of them, because there's already quite a few. So yeah, I'm going to be making a written guide as well to basically help navigate the TUI and set it up and stuff. So that'll be coming in the next few days, probably. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. So we were talking a little bit about contested usernames, and that's something that's been coming up a lot. When does it go live? It goes live on Epoch 3. It is already coded up. It's just waiting to be activated. Why did we not release at well, we did not launch it at the start because we were not sure that platform would work so well, and also we wanted to give time for mobile to be able to test on mainnet and to finish development so that it would be you would be able to register your contested usernames through the iOS and Android wallets. So a contested username is a username that is under 20 characters and does not have a number between 2 and 9. Evo nodes and master nodes, both Evo nodes and master nodes, sorry, I forgot an S there, can vote on name distribution. So that's going to be a little bit of a fun exercise when we get around to it. Time, mostly because I'm sure interest on voting for contested usernames will die out. So I believe what's going to happen is we'll do the contested usernames for a time period, and when interest starts dying down, we'll switch it to a different different type of resolution, and I believe it will probably be a bidding system. So if you were trying to get a contested username, you would basically put your initial bid for it, and then other people could also bid during that time. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the future and what we're going to be doing over the next few months. Evolution 1.3. Yes. So originally this was called Evolution 1.2. Now it's called 1.3. Why is that? Because we had to release a 1.2 to get with some extra features that was activated yesterday. So the version that finally started Evo was 1.2. So we'll have withdrawals in 1.3. That's the biggest feature that I think a lot of people will be very interested in. That means that you will be able to withdraw credits from platform to Dash. And basically, that means that Evo node operators will be able to move their rewards as they see fit. We'll be having stability fixes. If we find something wrong, I mean, we have found one issue, but yeah, I already marked that. I already wrote that down in the list here. But right now, it's pretty stable, but I'm sure that something will come up in the next week or two that we haven't seen yet. So we'll probably have some fixes there. We are having an issue with max gas. Right now, the maximum amount of state transitions per block is determined by the gas of the state transitions, and this gas includes storage costs and also specific costs for doing contested actions. So it basically does not really represent the processing capabilities of the network. So we need to switch that. The next one is, yes, the issue that we talked about with Lukas. And the last one is a query to basically be able to get multiple identity balances in one query. And that will allow us to basically have a page. I mean, it's probably already possible on what's the website that my brain is on? MN Watch? MNO Watch, sorry. I have not slept enough for a while. MNO Watch Evo Nodes page. Right now, it would request one Evo node balance at a time, and that's not very efficient. So we'll put this query to get many Evo node balances. We might also do a query to be able to see how often you proposed a block. I know it's already in the Platform Explorer, so it's less priority. Okay, and Evo 1.4. So about a month later, we'll do Evo 1.4, and this one will include fungible tokens, the state sync initial version, performance improvements, SDK improvements. Yeah, this is get the proposer block count and a simple proof of service system. Now, if you're thinking, oh, wow, that's a lot for a month. Yes, but state sync has actually already been mostly completed. Fungible tokens has some work already done there. And we're not going to do many performance improvements in a month, but we'll do some. And we won't do many SDK improvements in a month, but we'll do some. And yeah, and a simple proof of service system. This is actually quite important because if we still see like 15 Evo nodes that are not proposing per quorum, we need to do something about that and basically make it so they're not going to propose, or punish them a little bit more, because every single time that they don't propose, they have like a timeout window. And during that timeout window, the network doesn't produce blocks. And if it doesn't produce blocks, it's not really that snappy. That's why sometimes right now, if you've been using the TUI or any data contract, you might have sometimes when you try to do something and you'll get a response back in 5 seconds. And then some other times you try to do the same thing and it will give you a response back in a minute. And yeah, that's because some Evo nodes are not online. Probably some other reasons too, but definitely that's the bigger one. Okay. So DashPay mobile release. Yeah, so we activate on 3rd of September. This was a little bit later than expected. We're targeting the 24th of September for the mobile releases, and we're trying to get platform and core teams or some members from each team to help mobile. And next slide. Yep, that's that for platform. We're going to do a Q&A session at the end, and I'm sure there probably be a lot of questions. So if you have those questions, just write them and we'll get to them after hearing from Core and Mobile.
All right,
So-
cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we can move forward. So real quickly, basically we're just working on version 22 development. We are going to be having a planning basically tomorrow to figure out what.
Austin?
Yes, can you not hear me?
I can hear
Oh, I
you.
couldn't. It's my fault. Sorry.
Samuel, everything's your fault. Okay, moving on. Just kidding. Yeah, just working on version 22 development. We're gonna have a planning tomorrow to discuss some of the like big features that we might want to be working on and including. So if you want to advocate for anything, put it in, dev talk or something like that, and ping me. Let us know, and we will add it to the discussion for kind of what we're going to be working on. Right now, we're continuing to move forward with BIP 324 and making progress there. That would be a very, very nice, feature to implement and bring in. So Kitty Whiskers is continuing to make good progress there. It's just lots of backwards, lots of refactoring was needed to implement it. So it is taking time, but we're making good progress still. So pretty much everything here I've talked about previously. So I'm not going to go too much in depth, but yeah, just continuing working on backports and these major features here that we want to get ready for version 22. In the near future, we'll also be releasing a version 21.2. Just basically releasing kind of a lot of the work that we've been working on since version 21 was originally branched off. So it includes a lot of backports, a lot of like small changes and small fixes, a lot of refactoring. There are maybe a couple of interesting like end user things in 21.2, but it is a minor release, and so that's just towards our goal of kind of having more iterative releases and making sure we're deploying stuff when it is ready and not waiting for massive releases every single time. So once now that platform has activated, I can finally bug them to validate against the latest versions of Core, make sure that everything is still compatible. And then once I get that okay from Ivan or maybe Sam, but probably Ivan, I will be starting the release process for 21.2, and we'll get that out. It'll be an optional release. Masternodes won't have to upgrade. No one will have to upgrade, but it'll include, new improvements, new refactorings, new performance enhancements, everything like that. So yeah, we can move on to the next slide here. Real quick, this is kind of the stuff merged in since the last update. So, like I was talking about, good chunk of refactoring, some, compilation performance improvements, stuff like that. But you can go ahead and go over to GitHub or ask if you have any questions about any of these, and I believe we can move on to mobile.
Great. Thanks, Pasta. Yeah, so on the Android side, we wrapped up the backend piece for the voting, username voting. Still working on some callback methods in the REST library, and got right into the username requests, both the front end and the back end side. So this was just the first step to submit a request. This is just changes. We had already built the foundation of this, so it's just the things that changed since we built it. Dash spend, the display of the discount values is technically ready for testing, but the CTX service has been down, so we haven't had an opportunity to test that. So once that service is back up, we can hopefully wrap up the testing on that and start our beta. And then some error handling improvements during the username creation or request process, and a couple small bugs relating to the wallet being closed on Dash Wallet was taken care of. So that's Android. Can we move on to iOS? So lots of work still mostly underway on Dash Sync, a few things in review. So this is basically a lot of the work that has been being done in the past for the macros. Now we're finally getting into getting Dash Sync up and running. Excuse me. And still working on CoinJoin, but we're getting a lot closer. We're starting to integrate the work that's been done on the back end into the front end. What you see here is mostly still all back end related work. We've just started getting into the integrating the UI. So we should hopefully be nearing a point where we'll have a version that can be tested by the community on testnet. Yeah, so that's the update on mobile. The date that Sam mentioned, the 24th for the mobile releases, feel pretty confident about that on the Android side. We still have our username voting, like I said, work to be done, and we're going to hopefully get that onto testnet for the community to test as well for some period of time before we go to mainnet. But I feel pretty good about assuming no big issues there. Meeting that 24th of September deadline or target. On iOS, we do still have a decent amount of work to do. We still have all the changes for the username voting to be done. So that'll be cutting it close. So, the contributions from the platform and core teams, and they already have started. Constantine and Odie have already helped out on iOS. They've been helping, so that's been great. Hopefully with that continued support, we'll get to that target.
Thank you very much. So let's move forward with the questions. I see one question in the comments. But guys, if you think something needs clarification, please feel free to jump in with your questions to yourselves. All right, the first question. Has Paul from R&D finished up or updated this TUI tutorial for mainnet? Came in a little late, so maybe I missed it.
No, I have not. But I plan to I'm gonna update the GitHub README tonight. And yeah, like I mentioned before, we're gonna add more just documentation around how to use it in general in the next few days as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, if you want to connect to mainnet, just go back in the video to when I talked, and I did a demo, so you can see that.
Thanks. Question for Brian. Any update on Dash spend progress? This is the only way we get updates.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just gave that update on Dash spend. We had our last kind of, I'd say, not significant, but piece of development that we did to get that ready for a beta. We just are waiting for the CTX API service to come back online so that we can wrap up our testing and get it out for folks to try out a beta. So very little, for us to do on our side. We're just waiting for the service to come up.
Thank you very much. All right, if you have any more questions, please feel free to raise them in the chat below. And in the meantime, Sam, do you want to talk about some of the important things that you would like to highlight for the audience? Anything that is good to know, tips and tricks?
I'm not even sure. I'm just extremely happy of where we are. And it's going to be so exciting now that we have platform out. I mean, just so people know, right? I call it's a force of habit that I call it platform. I try my best to call it Evo or evolution. Platform, we are keeping platform for the name of the chain, for the blockchain, just and as an internal thing, but most often I will call it Evo. Yeah, it's just going to be a very interesting time. We're trying to wrap up everything that we need to get the system working well over the next few months. And then after that, I mean, we're also working on, SDKs, just having people be able to use platform as easily as we want. Once we're done with that, we're going to move on to smart contracts, probably sometime early next year. And yeah, so it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. We also, like, as time goes forward, I feel like we're gonna make it so the fees can generate quite a lot of revenue for the network. And yeah, it's it's a different era for Dash. We just started.
One
Let's see, one
question
more
came
question,
in.
Bob.
Can you add a
Mhm.
bit more info on what withdrawals will look like and capabilities?
Sure. So I've been working on that a little bit. And I understand that people are a little bit worried because they might be having their withdrawal address to a hardware wallet, and there was some worries that that wouldn't be supported or something like that. I want people to be very to not worry. I have my withdrawals going to a hardware wallet right now, so I can assure you that it will be supported. Um, I mean, the thing is most likely you'll be able to withdraw either with the withdrawal address or with your owner key, and we'll just allow two keys that work for each identity, and you can just choose which key you would like to use. I hope that answers the question. What else about withdrawals? Yeah, we have a pooling system for withdrawals as well, but I don't think that's going to make it in the first iteration. Um, we, what else? Basically, you'll just say, "I'd like to withdraw to this address," and it will just send the Dash from platform to that address, and it will take um, a few seconds to it will probably be under a minute no matter what. Probably something like 10 seconds at the most. Not really much more to add there. How does it work? Well, that's a little bit more complicated. It creates a signing session, and it does some very expensive threshold cryptography to prove that you made that withdrawal, and then Core can use that proof. Because this is kind of expensive for the network to actually do every withdrawal, withdrawals will be quite expensive relatively. Like, we're not talking dollars, but they'll probably be a few cents to make a withdrawal, a few US dollar cents equivalent right now. They're not going to be as cheap as some other operations.
All right. Question to the team. Is there anything that you guys would like to talk about or you would like to share? Okay. Then I see no further questions. Thanks for being here. Paul,
Paul
do you have?
Are refunds live for deleting data?
Yes. So he asked me this question. It's actually very interesting. We are also one of the only chains that I know of that does refunds on deletion. That means that this is a very big benefit that we have. It was very hard to code up. It basically means that if you store data on platform and then you remove that data, you get reimbursed a portion of the fees. And that allows for a whole class of potential games and systems. When you write data, you don't always want that data. You don't, I mean, it's expensive to use, like, to have a service that constantly creates data and then just has to always keep that data around, especially if, you're using a lot of data. So yeah, obviously we are a blockchain, right? So everything gets kept in the blockchain. But what we're really paying for is for the Evo nodes to hold the state, and not all the blockchain data. The blockchain data and platform is more of a ledger that allows everybody to come to consensus. What's really important in platform is the state. Eventually, we're going to give Evo node operators and even encourage them to not keep the entire blockchain, because they don't need to. That's not how the system is designed to work. They can, if they wish, just to have it around. But what's really important is the state in platform. Do we have any more questions? Are we done?
No more questions. I think that it's a wrap.
Excellent.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us, cheering for platform to be delivered and activated. So thanks, everybody. We will keep this development update, this bi-weekly development update. So see you in 2 weeks.